All right, shalom, everybody. Thank you for joining us here today. We have one of our special guests, honorary guests, that really kind of launched us to the place where we're at today, Judge Shar.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. Thank you for getting me up and Adam this morning. Good morning,
Yes.
family.
Good morning. Good morning. And of course, we have our Auntie Darlene. Hi, Miss Darlene.
Shalom, everyone. It's a blessing to be here today, and it's such a wonderful day break today. And I'm excited to hear and have this conversation with Sister Shar and Sister Stephanie. I do want to do uh, I guess, a clarification on what I said in our last live when I said I didn't have any community. I was not speaking of you guys. I was not. This has been one of the best things that ever happened to me. I was referring to the community in my neighborhood and where I live. So I just wanted to. I just wanted to say I was not talking about my family here, and so I just wanted to make sure that I was that I don't the family I don't have the community in my neighborhood that I would like to reach out to. So and okay, well we'll get the show started.
Well, we
I'm
definitely
sorry.
understand that. No, we know we were part of the community and we're a family here at Q2UA and amongst our, our brethren, of course. But
Yes.
today's topic is estate planning, emergency preparedness, which ties into estate planning as well. And then, of course, Sister Darlene, your product line, which can also be tied into estate planning. And then I'll allow Judge Shar to explain a little bit more about what exactly is estate planning. Until I met her, I didn't really. I always thought like estate planning was like for the palm colored people and for the very very rich people. So I didn't know that you know that us or someone that maybe is middle class or doesn't have like multi-million million dollars could have an estate plan. So I was ignorant of that fact.
Yeah, well, estate, it is a word that kind of sounds like that, right? Like a huge house. I think of that old was it a soap opera Dynasty? You think of, these wealthy people and their estates. And not understanding this is why our people are we are taken advantage of, and we lose wealth from generation to generation because we don't understand that every single one of us has an estate. Even if you don't own a home, you have an estate. And this is even much more important now while we're navigating the technological era and the formation of digital assets. You will hear that word more and more and more become a part of our everyday vocabulary because your email address is a digital asset. The account that you're using to watch this broadcast is a digital asset. Any place where you have stored photos, documents, or other information online is a digital asset. And at a minimum, we should all be thinking about who can access my stuff in case of an emergency, and in the event when that day comes, when we take our last breath, right? This is a very necessary consideration. And I'll just share an actual situation from this month in working with a family who had a major unexpected loss, and the next of kin are young people, the children. whose parent died unexpectedly, and they're stuck having to figure out how to bury a parent, how to get into a parent's phone, how to settle a parent's affairs. And this is really, really serious. And many of our people have been in that position. We've been in a position where we had to go digging through somebody's papers. So an estate is simply anything of value that you currently possess and control. And that will be important to the people who you leave behind, even if it's only your digital assets, even if you don't have a house. We need to be thinking about our estate and how our loved ones will be able to access those things. Because even my brother, in passing away unexpectedly, age 37, his iPhone account, his iCloud account, where he stored so much of his work, was his family was locked out of it because of the terms and agreements that are connected to your digital assets. So this is really important stuff. I take it really seriously. I see a lot of people on the painful side of this situation, and it's a little bit of work on the front end, but it's so worth it to have peace of mind for yourself and for your family.
That's good. That's good. Well, can you let me know how did you really get into estate planning? Is because of all the experiences that you've had, or how did
Exactly. Folks started dropping dead. Right.
you?
It's like I didn't choose estate planning. Estate planning chose me. In law school in 2000 and what year was that? 2009. Yes, 2009. I was in law school and completing my legal studies in this area of law when my auntie passed away, and nobody knew that she was sick. That's the other thing too, Black folks. We don't want to be a burden. We don't want people to know. And no one knew that my aunt had been navigating multiple surgeries, chemo, all this stuff for nearly a decade. She was very, very private. And she called my mom. I I suppose once she got the news that there was nothing else that the doctors could do. And she asked my mom if she would be the administrator of her estate. So you'll hear the word administrator or you'll hear the word executor in some very old legal English uses. You may even see the word executrix, which just means a female executor. But in modern in modern legal use, we only use the gender neutral term administrator or executor to refer to male or female, the person who is responsibility for carrying out the final wishes of the estate of the person who passes away. So my auntie called and she asked my mother, who was her closest sister, because it was a bunch of them. And my mom said, "Yes, I'll be your administrator." And my aunt told my mom, "There's a bunch of documents. Here's where I left them, and everything is in there." So my aunt took care of her estate plan, and she told my mother where the documents were that she had prepared by her attorney. Well, then everybody found out, surprise, surprise, my aunt began declining like rapidly. And we're finding out about all this stuff as she's in her final weeks of life. And during her final weeks of life, people were in and out of her house, and there were all kind of elements of family stuff that we were unaware of until my aunt passed away and my mother could not find the paperwork. And in that paperwork being lost, it was a bunch of foolishness that popped off. And in 2009, that's when there was a major rift in our family because of the fallout in the case of the disappearing will. And so it was a very painful season. I had just learned about that in law school. And that Christmas, I reached out to all of my surviving aunties and my mom, and I was like, listen, can we never allow this to happen in our family again? Not only to like do your paperwork, but make sure somebody else already has the paperwork, somebody else already has access to the paperwork. And my mother, she jumped on it. And another one of her sisters jumped on it, and we were able to have those conversations and have the paperwork in somebody's possession. And I always tell my family, if I prepare paperwork for you, if I help you prepare paperwork, I'm not asking to be responsible. I just want to know that you put a copy of this paperwork in somebody else's hands, you email it to somebody, you save it in a Google Drive and email it out. So somebody else need to have access to this stuff, because that's what happened to my family. And year after year, person after person, I just found myself being like not only the person that writes obituaries, but the person who's having those conversations with particularly people in my family at first, and only to see how much these conversations really bring peace of mind. And I've had a lot of loss in my family. Like my mother's generation, like her whole generation gone, except for one of her sisters. So to me, this conversation is real. And on the legal profession side of it, when I see our people in courtrooms not knowing what they're doing, frustrated. You already have to miss this person when they're gone, and then you got to fight with folks acting the fool, because that's what people act real crazy after someone passes away. I don't have to tell y'all that. We all know how the foolishness starts after someone passes away. And so when you compound that with us being stuck in the court system, with the delay, with the loss, with the it infuriates me, because it's that season and that time of loss, it hurts enough without having to be lost in the legal system, and it's 100% avoidable.
Yes.
Yeah.
Um, excuse me. You should finish, Sister Shaw. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I see.
Oh, okay. That is. First of all, I always thought that it was if you just had a will, that everything would be okay. But that's why I had when I learned about through Sister Shaw the trust. I and I think it's been 3 years now since you did my trust. And one of the reason why I had it done was because of the same reasons that Sister Shaw had just pointed out. You get phone calls if somebody passed, and then you get the family fighting against each other, making decisions. You getting calls saying, "Oh, they taking stuff out the house already," and and if you want to see the worst in someone, it's usually at a funeral. It's usually at that
Exactly.
time when you see the fight over the material things that that is is going to fade anyway. But and also I've seen people in probate court for years
Mhm.
fighting over and arguing over you know stuff that their loved ones are lost. And and then too you get a chance to um get your medical directive done. Working in the medical field, you see fighting over when they're going to take you off the ventilator, if they're going to put you on life support, or what they're going to do. And so if you have that already allocated to your family and it's in a legal document, they can't do anything other than what's in your medical directive. You you just I come to that term that, okay, I want to make sure that my family know how I want to be put away, or how I want to. I'm hoping it's on the continent,
All
but
right.
It's
but
like Joseph, carry my bones.
yeah, yep, like Joseph, take my bones. But because I have seen where people put so much money into funerals, and that's just my preference to not to have a whole bunch of crap going on with that the funeral homes put you in the emotional state to make you feel like you have to do those things.
Mhm.
Um, and I was also able to say, okay, allocate who I want to have this or that, and really I made it kind of where you can't do anything for a whole year. So my house will have to sit here a whole year so they can work through things before just start making decisions,
Mhm.
on what they have to do. I mean, what I, to do. And it also, the cost that keeps you out of, like I said, probate court. It's a trap to think that your parents or somebody have something, and then you got to go to court and pay all this money for it. So those are some of the reasons, but the main one is that um, my mother she was a preparer. She
Mm.
prepared a lot of situations where, down to the point where she even had her obituary wrote out. So
Mhm.
all we had to do was fill in the blanks. And her joke was, at the time I didn't want, I'm like, Mama, but her joke was, y'all not gonna be lying on me. I'm gonna write it down so y'all can't lie on me.
I love it.
So, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. So, it's what I liked about having it done was that, Sister Shar had a template that you can go through. It's a little work, but you go through it and it helps you sort out and organize the way so that you're not sitting there trying to figure out every detail. It's kind of already there for you. So yeah, I'm so happy I have it got it done. And sometimes you choose where, you could have a limited income, but choose where you're gonna put your funds and what's important, compared to um thinking that you don't have, it's too expensive or anything, because in the long run it's gonna and our Sister Shar can speak on the how it protects um, your estate, how it protects your things through the court system and legally. But it it's worth having. So I
Thank you
appreciate
for
y'all.
that. Yeah, no, thank you
I
for being
appreciate Sister
so
Shar so much. Y'all just don't know, it's her, where she's helped me in different areas. So
thank
yeah,
you, Auntie. I
thank
mean,
you.
it was such an honor for you to come to me and say, Sister Shar, will you help me with this? And for the reason that you just said, okay, I thought all I needed was a will. Well, a will is not enough. So let's talk about what our people used to do. So our people are very savvy, and our people have always figured out how to make things work. And what our people used to do, when they would reach a certain season in life, they would put their kids' names on their deed so that the deed will automatically transfer to the children. And this is how many of us in our community have ended up with what we call family properties, with two, three, or more siblings all have a piece of that house. And excuse me, the reason why it worked was because The deed eliminates the need for the court to transfer ownership. The problem is when we leave property that way to multiple siblings, and some of you may have experienced this as well, it's
Yes.
not uncommon to have that sibling, that one person who never really contributes, never really covers the taxes, lives in the house, doesn't maintain it. And then the responsible, right? There's a responsible sibling. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Come on now. Let- let's talk about who our family is.
Yes, exactly.
And then when you have set up your estate this way and you know how your children are and you know who the responsible child is and you know who the trifling child is, you have put your children in a very expensive real estate contest situation. Dealing with the relationship dynamic when both of these type of personalities are connected to real estate becomes even more expensive to fix. But by putting your house in a trust and transferring the house to a trust, you're transferring that property to keep it out of the court's hands when you pass away, and you're giving authority to the responsible child not to have to be stuck dealing with the trifling child without having some type of authority. So in many situations where we've helped parents navigate that, they know who their kids are and they want that responsible child to have authority to basically become the property manager, to have authority to say, okay, trifling child, you have to at least pay the taxes, you have to at least keep the yard maintained, you have to at least, you have to do something. You can't just sit up here on your sisters and your brothers and do nothing and enjoy the benefit of the house. And that's just one of many examples of why putting it in a trust puts the authority in the person that's bearing the responsibility and keeping the house out of probate, keeping it out of the court. So there's a lot of information out here on social media, YouTube, TikTok, everybody talking about trust this, trust that. People talking about all kind of things and tricks and stuff. Here is what the trust, the purpose, the number one purpose of the trust is to bypass the court. We want to keep our people out of court. A trust is not a way to not have to pay taxes. A trust is not a way to be anonymous. That's not what that is. And there's a really big trap out here with a lot of non-attorneys giving information about trust. They're
Mhm.
telling you about anonymity. I'm going to tell you right now, here in the state of Georgia, if your trust that you put your house in has any other name but your name, you are going to lose your homestead protection. So, a lot of our people, I understand, legal advice is not cheap. You're paying for the years of another person's studies and experience. And it may be attractive to go to ChatGPT and put together what you heard on a YouTube video. But I'm gonna tell you right now that if you hide who you are and then put your house in that trust, you're going to be penalized with the tax that's attached to your home. You're going to lose a homestead exemption. There are all types of different things that connect with these types of decisions that not everybody's situation is the same. Chat GPT, it has all of the information that we taught it as legal professionals, but it does not understand all of the nuances. So just be careful, because I'm not mad if you can figure out how to do it on one of these platforms or apps, go for it. But just be very careful with all of the people that has all of these Our people are quick to be like, oh, did you get this? Did you get that? Did you set you up? Like, look, keep it simple. Irrevocable living trust is an estate planning tool. If you only have your one house that you live in and you don't want your family having to go to court, then you want an irrevocable living trust. You don't want to get into all of the other stuff, because that stuff, the more stuff you layer onto it, the more tax implications and compliance things that you end up getting involved in. And if I could just take a quick segue here while talking about this and how our people could get these things affordably without making a mess. There is, because of Chat GPT right now, there is a growing community of professionals warning our people to be so careful about being your own lawyer with AI. And I've seen it. I've seen it 1,000 times before we had AI. When I worked at Legal Aid, people who went out of necessity to go and prepare their own legal stuff or to be their own lawyer often made a bigger mess than had they gone to a lawyer in the first place. And then when they come to get help from a lawyer, it's more expensive to fix the mess than to have done it right in the first place. So I just kind of want to throw that out there because it's happening with people getting therapy from AI, going to AI, like AI is your mental health professional. People going to AI for legal, people going to AI for understanding how to navigate other complex transactions. Be very careful. And at a minimum, I would say if you do something like that, at least pay a professional for an hour of their time to look at your work before you depend on it. If you have to for budgetary reasons, AI is not going to replace, and I'm not saying this because I'm a lawyer. I'm saying this because I see the mess when people don't understand the nuance. So, yes, you want a revocable living trust. If you have a home, that is what I always recommend. A revocable living trust. You want your last will and testament. You want your advanced medical directive. To Auntie's point, when somebody is in a hospital, this is one of the most disorienting seasons of life. It's too much stuff going on. You got a phone call, so in the hospital, you got to hurry up and get down there. You missed some work, you're outside of your routine, you don't know what's going to happen, you're the decision maker, and you got to figure stuff out. It's absolutely disorienting. When you have documented your desires, and these documents are very, like, if you want to do a free one, advanced medical directive and a power of attorney, go for it. Those two, if you want to do those for free, you want to do those on ChatGPT, go for it. Go for it. Just make sure you find out what's the instructions for making sure it's valid. How do I execute this? How is this valid in my state? That's the only thing that I would say. If you do those two documents, advanced medical directive and power of attorney, those I am very comfortable with you doing on ChatGPT. But the other stuff, the trust, absolutely not. But with the advanced medical directive, you're making several decisions that your loved ones don't want to have to make those decisions. They need to know whether or not you want an autopsy. Some people don't want an autopsy, even if the circumstances of their death are suspicious. They don't want that, and you get to honor and respect that. Don't have an autopsy. You get to decide whether or not you want your organs donated. Some people feel real strong about that. Do not donate my organs and do not donate my body to a medical school. These are a part of those documents, because so people who don't have these kind of documents and who don't have family advocated for them, guess where their body end up, and guess what end up with their organs.
Mm-hmm.
You get to decide who is the person who's authorized to have your body released from the hospital and to tell the hospital who can come and pick up the body, what funeral home can come pick up the body. You have to tell them who do you trust to do that, because people fight over stuff like that too. You let the on this document you're choosing what kind of medical care you want. Do you want to be kept alive on life support? Do you want to die naturally, or do you want to pick and choose? I remember having one family, for whatever reason, that mama said she did not want oxygen. She didn't want to breathe the tube. And I got to tell y'all this because people are funny. The mama said she didn't want to breathe the tube, but her child was like, I want to keep you alive, but by any means necessary. And because I had met with this family several times, I realized that the mama really, for whatever reason, this lady really did not like the thought of a breathing tube. And so her child tried to bully her into it when when we were doing the paperwork. And I said to the child, I said, your mom does not want that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? She don't want that. And so you can see the child was heartbroken because the child wanted the authority to keep mom alive, whatever it took. And so the child went and took a bathroom break. I was still in the conference room with the mom. The mom said, "Thank you, Shar." She said, "I've been trying to tell my kids, but my kids be trying to tell me." I said,
Mm-hmm.
"No, every time we ever spoke about that breathing tube, I noticed you get upset." Like she actually got upset.
Yeah.
So when you make these decisions, you release that burden off of your family to have to make that decision. When the doctors are saying a decision has to be made now. And you also establish some boundaries, like we had to do with this one family. That lady don't want no breathing tube. I pray she don't never need one, but she doesn't
Mm-hmm.
want a breathing tube. And you also get to let your family know. And I usually have our clients write it in their own handwriting. Don't leave me lying up here for months just withering away. A lot of people feel that way. They don't want to be on life support for months. And excuse me, we often see people write in things like, it's okay to let me go, things like that. And this really, really unburdens your loved ones when you take the time and you put that in your own handwriting. Not only what kind of treatment you want, but reassure them, if I'm up here brain dead and it's only the machines breathing for me, don't leave me like this.
Mm-hmm.
You want to do that for your family. And this is a great, great act of love. It's love to take the time and document those kind of wishes. And when the day comes, if your family ever has to rely on that document, they will have so much appreciation that you took the time to do that.
Exactly. Yeah. Because it's not, for some of us, it's not, it's quality of life, not quantity, how much long. Because you don't, for some, we don't want to lay up there in a long-term care facility or waiting on somebody to turn us or bed sores and all of that. So it just depends on, um, how you want to continue to, that you don't want anyone, um, how much taking care of you. Also, you want to make sure that you give your primary care doctor a copy of your medical directive. And you also want to make sure if you're ever in the hospital or something that your family take that to them when you're in the, when you're in the hospital. So those are two things that you might want to do.
That's a great practical advice, Auntie, because when you have the documents, going back to my nightmare and real life adventure into estate planning, who knows who has a copy of it? It's very common that we'll get a call for someone to have their advance directive done because they got a scheduled surgery. And their surgeon is saying, do you have a living will? That's another word for it. Living will is the same. And so a lot of people don't think about that until they have a surgery coming up and the doctor say, do you have a living will? Well, once you have it, yes, your primary needs to have it. Your surgeon needs to have it. The hospital staff, if you know you're going in for a procedure, needs to have it. And that way, those wishes are not only documented, but the information has been communicated to people who need to know it. So that's great practical wisdom right there, Auntie.
That's good. I think I have a question. So, like the estate planning and the trust, for those that are, I guess, moving to the continent, does that still apply, or will they have to go through the whole legal process again?
So long as you are here and so long as your property is here, you need an estate plan here. How things work in Africa is going to be a case by case analysis, because a lot of what I've seen many African countries do and have, Africa is very deferential, meaning there is a very high regard in Africa towards documents and legal processes that originate from the United States. So if paperwork was prepared in the United States and is necessary for navigating some decisions in Africa, 9 times out of 10, an African official or authority is going to pay respect to a US prepared document. But as long as you have property here, and as long as you have digital assets anywhere in the world online, though that American paperwork is going to always be valid. When somebody passes away, you need access to their Facebook account. Somebody passes away, you need to get into their Google Drive. Their whole business was on Google Drive, and they were writing a book, and it's all on Google Drive. All the family pictures are on iCloud. Those documents are always valid for those purposes, whether or not you live here or you live in Africa.
Yes, and I do keep a password journal locked up so they can have all the passwords. But Sister Shaw, could you explain how I've had family members, like older family members, that had land and houses here in Georgia, and they lost their home. Someone came and just they took their deeds and everything. And when they go to the courthouse, they couldn't find records, back in the day. But
Mhm.
could you explain how having that type of trust legally protects your home, if you don't pay the property tax? Could you explain that?
Yes, so
Um,
a couple of things when you talk about this. So there's 2 parts of the home ownership here in the United States. There's the deed, right? Who is the owner of record? And that's why all real estate transactions must be in writing. There must always be a deed to complete the transfer into a trust. So that deed creates an official record of ownership. But then there's also the tax piece, because that annual tax gives the county the right to come and place a lien upon the house and to foreclose upon the land or the property when those taxes are not paid. So with the trust, you have record of deed ownership, but the heirs to that property are forever responsible for maintaining the taxes so that the county does not come and foreclose for taxes. Does that answer your question, or were
Yeah.
you asking something else?
A little bit something else, so no one else can come in and like forge papers or anything or um on your home to take it.
Forgery is a big issue nationwide.
Mhm.
And there it is best practice to monitor your deed record from time to time. There was actually a service that I heard of in Georgia. I need to find the name of it. That you it's free. You sign up for it and it sends you a notification anytime there's action done on your deed. So deed monitoring or record monitoring is the best way to be made aware if someone is attempting to conduct a fraudulent transfer on your property record. And the sooner you catch it, the better, because people are out here really sophisticated with the scamming. We even had one of our business clients reach out about hearing on the news that this has also been done where people's businesses have been transferred through the online business registry records. So scamming is real, and monitoring is how we catch it so that we can take action before the damage is done. And that does put a burden on each and every one of us just to make sure we're checking on stuff the same way you're checking on your accounts, you're checking the balance. You want to check your records. You want to check on the Secretary of State records to see if anyone has filed something fraudulent on there. There's a growing culture of, oh yeah, you could get business credit. You could get business credit. Well, guess what that creates? That creates the people who want to go and scam and use somebody else's business and somebody else's employer identification number and go and apply for loans, right? So monitoring is what we must do, the same way we monitor our accounts. And unfortunately, the trust doesn't automatically create that, but it does create a chain in the title um, that establishes an authentic transfer. It will become the most recent authentic transfer in your chain of title in the event that someone came and attempted to fraudulently transfer your house.
Thank you.
You're
That's good.
welcome. People out here, you know, I went to Lenox Mall several years ago with my oldest son. That's where we used to go and hang out for his little our little birthday get together to treat him for his birthday. And one year we went out to eat to the little cheesecake at Lenox Mall. And I said, well, we're out there at lunchtime, like on a Tuesday or Wednesday that year, and the mall was packed. And I said, well, who are all these people at the mall in the middle of the day? And my son said, scammers.
What?
I was so confused. I was like, the last thing I expected was for the mall to be packed in the middle of the day on a Tuesday, Wednesday. Um, but there, it's some people who want to look like they have that life, but they don't have the work ethic to go and earn the money, right? So because of that culture, people who own property have to be just as savvy to just make sure we keep an eye and monitor our stuff because it's some lazy folks out here who rather steal than earn.
Yeah, I know. Well, I guess speaking on I wouldn't even call it a scam, but you had mentioned before that some people are out here, trying to do the estate planning and revocable and irrevocable trusts themselves, and then I know some people are like going back and amending some documents, with the government to be able to get reimbursement for that. And it was brought to me before, and I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know about that. It seems sketchy. So is that scamming as well?
Okay. So this is where we need to have a conversation. Because every time I'm on TikTok and I see this kind of stuff, I cringe because I know. And our people don't
Mhm.
know. When you are out here and you are dealing with legal documents, you're dealing with things that interface with the IRS, you're dealing with things that involve public records, and you're telling people what to do, or you're preparing paperwork for people, especially in Georgia, you are committing a misdemeanor. If you do not have a license as a professional, if you are not a licensed CPA, if you are not a licensed attorney, if you are not a licensed financial planner, this is why when you see these channels, they say this is not financial advice. This is not, when they say these things, those things have to be said, because licensure is about protecting the public. As a lawyer, I have to be licensed, because I have to, my authority has to be accountable to the bar. If I lie to you, then the bar holds me accountable. But when you're working with someone who's not licensed, then you are in danger. If something goes wrong, that person cannot be held accountable. So that's what I mean when I talk to us, our cousins. I love the creativity of our people. I love the hustle of our people. I love that our people are out here educating ourselves and finding resources and sharing resources with one another. But the way we go about doing it, the licensed professional is the safest way to do it, because if a licensed person messes it up, then that licensed person usually is going to have some kind of insurance that reimburses you for the mistake. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So would you have to ask for their bonding? Do they have to be bonded?
So with an attorney, it's really easy.
Mm,
Go to the state bar's website and put in their name.
right.
Put the attorney's name in the state bar's website. See if anyone has, if that person has a discipline history. All of that stuff is public. That's why a licensed professional is not reckless with our advice, especially on social media, because we're held accountable by our peers. With a CPA, you want to search, is this person a certified public accountant? That name, that title means that this person is not only licensed, but if they make a mess, there may be insurance that will compensate you for their mistake. They can be held accountable and their license can be taken away. But when you're dealing with somebody who's just, a social media brand, who's not licensed, that's the first thing to know if a person is qualified. It's a lot of people out here, they have good information, and they're giving information or education, but then at the point where they're telling you what you should do in your situation, they are crossing the line into unlicensed practice, and unlicensed practice is a misdemeanor. It's happening so much on social media right now that you're not hearing about people catching cases for unlicensed practice of professional things. But that's the reason why when you're on here and you have to say this isn't medical advice. Why? Because you can catch a case for that. If you are giving medical advice, if you are diagnosing people on the internet, that's basically what people are doing when it comes to these property and business things. They're diagnosing and they're making recommendations, but they are not licensed, meaning that they are not accountable to other professionals. That's dangerous for us. I much rather, excuse me, I much rather you go somewhere like LegalZoom, where I know that those services are attached to licensed attorneys, than for you to be out here on social media trying to wing it off of somebody's, $99 information because you don't want to pay the couple of $1,000s that a licensed professional charges for their time. I get it. Like, for real, I get it. I'm not trying to gatekeep at all. I'll be the first one to tell you how to do something for free. But doing it through a social media personality that's not licensed is where our people get scammed. Who's supposed to fix it? When they make a mistake, how are you supposed to hold them accountable? Where did you sign a contract with them?
Right.
When you work with a licensed professional is going to have you sign an agreement. When my client sign paperwork, I'm bound to them. You want to have your person bound to do you right, bound to tell you the truth, bound to lead you in the right direction. That's the whole purpose for licensure. That's why, I don't like that a lot of times the professional is looked at as, oh, they too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
It costs it costs to get this license. It costs to maintain the license, and it costs me to mess you up. I got skin in the game when I'm charging you, right? I have skin in the game, and I'm accountable to you on a higher level than the person that's, at your church just passing around filling the blank paperwork. Like, nah, no. Because if that messes you up, you don't have a legal remedy. You did that to yourself. And look, some people are out here, again, I'm not hating on anybody's hustle. I'm not. But ChatGPT and Google research does not teach nuance. Y'all know how I'm gonna use my son as a perfect example. He's 13 years old. And because of YouTube, the boy, he knows a lot of little pieces of information. And sometimes I'll be like, how you knew that? Oh, YouTube shorts, right? So he knows a lot of things because of YouTube. Excuse me. And then I'll say something to him. Oh, perfect example. Last week, he jammed my stapler. And he was trying to unjam the stapler using his fingers. And I said, give me the stapler. And he passed me the stapler. And I've banged the stapler on its side 2 times against the edge of my desk. And his eyes popped open. He said, Mom, how did you do that? How did you know? I said, Judah, I've been working at offices for 35 years. I know my way around a couple of things. He knows how to use the stapler. But when that stapler malfunctioned, it was my experience that fixed it, the stapler. And so the biggest thing, if I can empower our people with anything, ChatGPT, Google, internet, all of this stuff, all of these resources will give you information, and a lot of the information will be correct. And for the most basic situations, it may work just fine for your situation. But the more layers of complexity you have, the more the experience, or what the Proverbs calls understanding. The person with the license is in the best position to have understanding, because you can have information and not understand how it impacts other things. I hope that makes sense.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. So I do have another question. Um, of course, no one wants to think about death, but that is something that happens. How do we get through to, like, say, the younger generation, the 20s and 30 years old? Because sometimes people don't think about that because they think they'll live forever. But how do you get that through to them that they need to get their house in order?
Um, that's a great question, because I've been navigating that with my young adults for at least 5 years now. Um, and right now I'm just the old lady making noise in the room. My children have been witnesses to estate planning meetings at my office, and they understand that this paperwork is relevant. But at that season of life, you're invincible, and you just continue to mention it. One thing that's a great first step, which I did for my middle son, as soon as he turned 18, and as soon as he graduated high school, and as soon as I knew that boy was going out of state for college, I asked him to make me power of attorney in case of emergency. And he was with it. And all I did, I explained to him, now that you're an adult, I can't just throw around the mom badge and get what I want, or advocate for you if something happens to you. And when I explained it to him and asked for his authority, he was so happy to give it to me. That Quinn gave me power of attorney 10 years ago. And I've never had to use it, but I have it, right? And so the power of attorney is a great place to start with your young adult. Hey, just in case of emergency, it don't have to be mom, right? It doesn't have to be mom. Some of our children have beef with their parents. You know, we have, some of us have traumatized our kids. I'm one of them. I traumatized my children having them so young. So they might trust their friend, right? But ask them, can will you do this for me? So that I have peace of mind that somebody has authority to act on your behalf in case of an emergency. So I think a power of attorney is a best place to start, because my own 18-year-old understood it, and he did not hesitate to sign it. And it does give me authority to access his bank accounts, and to pay his bills, and to conduct his affairs for him while he's alive in case of emergency. And when I'm talking to young people, even my niece, I had this conversation with my niece. My niece is 22 years old. And I said to her, I said, did you know that if something happens to you and they needed to get in your family, your mom or your sisters needed to get into your phone to take care of your business while you're temporarily in a state of emergency, nobody would be able to get into your phone without you giving them that power on a power of attorney. And when I said that to my niece, her eyes got real big and she was upset. She was like, really? I was like, yeah, like your mom can't just go to the Apple store and get into your phone. Your sisters can't just take your phone and get into your phone. So if there's ever an emergency with you, if you're ever involved in a car accident or something where your bills got to continue to be paid while you laid up, who would that person be? And I think that that's the best place to start planting seeds with younger people, is the in case of emergency conversation, not necessarily in case you die, because they're not thinking like that. But they are aware, because many of our people, our young people, they have already had a lot of experiences with some real tragic stuff. Um, a lot of people have passed away earlier. Like I was telling y'all about some young folk that I'm working with right now. Like a parent who was not old just suddenly dropped dead, right? So younger people are being confronted with these end of life and emergency situations more than I know I was at that age. And so there is a point of reference for them to talk about in case of emergency and start with the power of attorney. In fact, we have a platform that will do the power of attorney for you for free. This is how important this document is. We give it away. We give it away. Have a power of attorney for your young people, 18 years or older. There's no reason they shouldn't have a power of attorney.
That's good. That's good. And that answers my question. And it ties into, emergency preparedness, of course. You always want to be prepared, especially, y'all forbid, in times like this, make sure that, you have everything is in order and can be, accessible.
You do. One of the most, like I said, estate planning chose me. I did not choose estate planning. I promise y'all, I did not go to law school saying I want to be an estate planning. I did. It was nowhere. I just wanted to help the people. I really did go to law school recognizing that my life was ghetto. I had the opportunity to go, and if I ever got in a position where I could help people navigate life, I wanted to. That was my heart. That's always been my heart in becoming an attorney. One year, I got a phone call from a family friend. You know how you got those family friends, they've been in your family so long, they your auntie and your cousins. I got that call from one of the aunties, a family friend, and she said, my son was injured. It was a violent crime, and he's down in Grady. Y'all know Atlanta, Grady Hospital, and the hospital won't let me make decisions for him. At the time, her son was 28 years old, and mom was like a nobody to the hospital staff, and her son had been paralyzed in the crime that was committed against him. So she said, "Can you help us?" I said, "Yeah." Is he conscious? She said, "Yes, he's conscious. But he can't speak. You have to like read his lips." So she had gotten really good at reading his lips, and he can nod his head. And that's all I needed. That's all I did. That's okay. I'll be there. So we did the whole everything for him, his will, we did his power of attorney, we did his advance directive, because that's what the main thing mom needed so that she can advocate for her son's care. And he was awake, he was aware, he nodded his head. I asked him questions, and we got it done. And she was finally able to advocate for her 28-year-old son who was paralyzed by a violent criminal. And sadly enough, and I had not seen that child since youth ministry back in our church in Florida. He was the bad kid, but he was openly bad, which is why I always loved him, because he didn't hide his bad. He was he was openly bad. And he would have me laughing how if he had a good day, everybody else in youth ministry would pay attention. But if he was feeling like he wanted to be distracted, everybody would follow his lead. He was a little leader, and he was fearless. And I had not seen that child for more than 12 years before I was next to his bedside in Grady Hospital executing his estate plan. And I will always remember him telling me that he loved me before I left that hospital, not knowing that that baby would be gone in less than a month. He passed away. This stuff is real. We don't know the balance of our days. We need to be working out our own soul salvation with fear and trembling. And we also need to not be afraid of the fact that one day we won't be here anymore. And while it could be frightening to face, one of the things that I recently learned about the country of Bhutan is that they are called the happiest nation in the world And the recipe or the key ingredient why the people are so happy in this very, very poor country is because they are constantly thinking about the day they die. They actually practice 5 times a day thinking about the fact that they're living while dying. And the reason why this is so important and why I was so inspired by this, and I think that all of the death that I've experienced so young in my own life, it makes me so willing to talk about these things, is because that when you think about the fact that you're dying, you make decisions that don't waste time. You're not going to be wasteful. You're not going to hold on to offenses and things that won't matter when you're gone. And you're the person who ends up at other people's funerals without regret, because you're living your life aware, like how David prayed. David said, "Yeah, teach us how to number our days." This is what the Bhutanese practice. They face death every day because it makes them appreciate the life they have and the relationships that we have. We're not wasteful with them. So it doesn't have to be a sad conversation. And that's why I'm so happy how my mom, my mom's example of the conversations we had. I didn't know I would be losing her only 8 years after I did her will. We didn't plan for her to be gone, but the conversations we had around her bravery and her courage and recognizing that she would die one day, it equipped me to make decisions that I have peace with. Don't come wearing black to my funeral. Don't be playing no sad music at my funeral. I want y'all coming in there doing the Bankhead bounce. These were the conversations my mother had with me. Don't be throwing my money into no casket. Don't throw my money into the ground. I want y'all to at least have a chicken dinner when I'm gone. This is courage. This is knowing that nothing is permanent in this life. And it's not a sad thing. It's just the circle of life, like we learned in The Lion King, right? So let's have courage about this. Let's be bold in Yah and in the power of his might. Let's leave an inheritance of courage and planning and preparation to our children's children. Let's make sure that we're writing our obituary each day with our own life and the decisions we make and the love we give and the hope that we share. Let's make sure that we're doing that. Because as I'm reading the book of Sirach this time around, those last couple of chapters, they're obituary pages. It's the Bible Hall of Fame in the book of Sirach, beginning at chapter 44. And when Solomon began talking about his own father, he said, "My daddy played with lions and my daddy played with bears. My daddy was fearless." And I believe that's why David was a man after Yah's own heart. He wasn't even afraid of death. And neither should we be. It's just a portion for this short little season we have. And when we begin counting our days this way, each day becomes so much more enjoyable. Each moment becomes so much more enjoyable because we're not wasting time and we're not afraid of death. Paul said, "Death, where is your sting? I ain't scared of you." And I believe that that's our portion. I believe that we are the example of that in the world, that we give hope. Like the Bhutanese, these people, they don't even, I don't know, I don't even think that they pray to Yah, but yet they have courage in facing death. How much more should that be us, right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, because when we're born, the clock starts ticking then. So, it's, what's important in life compared to what would be a waste of the life that Yahuwah has given us. So, yeah, but there's a couple of questions in the chat.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
It says, one of them says, if you have a power of attorney, are you responsible for their bills if they have no money?
No, so the power of attorney doesn't make you a financially responsible person. You're responsible for taking that person's assets and using that person's assets to care for them. But if they don't have assets, that does not make you financially responsible.
Yes, but be very careful when if someone's in a long-term care facility, um, or nursing home and they having you sign papers, because they will sneak in where you are, you're taking over the responsibility of that person, the financial responsibility.
Yes, that's a good point, Auntie. So that is a contract with the care facility, because the care facility, just like with the doctor's office, when they have you fill out paper, they ask you for your insurance, and they're like, okay, and in case you don't have insurance, we need to know your social security number, your birthday, where you live, and where you work, because we're going to come after you for the bill if your insurance doesn't cover it. It's the same exact thing. So that is the financial responsibility paperwork in long-term care situations, but that is separate from the power of attorney.
Right. And they'll try to, if your family is signing that, it may put them in a spot of, you know, taking care of being responsible for your bills.
That's true. That's true.
Hmm.
That's a great example of becoming surety, right? You would become a surety for your loved one if you are placing your loved one in a care facility and the care facility has you signing financial responsibility paperwork. That's absolutely correct. And that's a good point, because it's paperwork. It's like the more paperwork it is, the more you need to slow down and really read it and think it through.
And I'm sorry, these long-term care facilities, they have ways of looking up every account, every, um, all your financial um, stuff. So they have ways of knowing exactly what you have and what you don't have.
I think it's best practice for all business to be able to track you down and sue you if you don't pay your bill. Um, I imagine that that's become a part of their practice
Right.
because they've had people dumped on them. Imagine, put yourself in the shoes of the long term care facility. I have one as a client, and a desperate family can't take care of this person with memory care. Know good and well that they don't have any money to take care of this person, and they drop them off and dump them and disappear.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So there's two sides to it. There's the fact that the long-term care facility is a valuable service, and that's where you want to think about having a long-term care insurance policy in place.
Right.
And there is an age limit for that. So for younger folk, it's not even very expensive to carry, but it is a huge blessing to your family in the event you ever need long-term care, because there's a risk to the care facility to take a person who has limited resources.
Yes, and I agree with that, that the long-term care facility needs to be reimbursed as long as they're doing what they have contract to as far as care with that person,
You absolutely
providing
right.
the right care for that person.
You're absolutely right. Some people are in the wrong business and don't care for folk for real. And you know, I get it. Only recently did this even really kind of become a growing trend in our community. In our community, for the most part, we take care of our folk till they gone. This is still the majority of families in our community, but now where our families don't live close to each other anymore, we're more scattered all over the place, and we're having to work both, two people having to work and care for kids. Caregiving is extremely difficult. especially when you don't have your family living close by. So it is a growing industry because for that reason, I believe, because culturally we never sent our people away. But caregiving is very hard when you don't have that community close by supporting you with caring for a loved one.
Mhm. Someone also says, can you explain the different types of POA, I guess, power of attorney?
So what most states are doing and have done is they are taking the different kind of power of attorney. So there's a financial power of attorney, there's a durable power of attorney, there's power of attorney for limited purposes. What most states are doing now through statute is they're combining all of the different types of power of attorney into one form. And inside of that form, you are creating the specificity of the purpose. So a financial power of attorney would only be for your banking, your tax preparation, your investment accounts, managing your financial assets. But then you would also have a durable power of attorney for what I like to refer to as superpowers under the statute, where you're doing a little bit more than just managing financial assets, but maybe you might be getting involved in disclaiming inheritance for the purpose of maintaining someone's nursing home care benefits. There are some more nuanced powers that you can grant under the new statutory power of attorney form that is being adopted by most states, where now you can use the one form to make it financial, to make it durable, to grant even more authority than the financial authority. And then you also have a power of attorney for a specific limited purpose. And one example of that is you need someone to be your power of attorney to go to a real estate closing and you can't be there. Like they scheduled the closing when you can't be there. So you want to authorize someone else to be there for you and to sign as you, to be present on your behalf. Well, that would be a limited purpose. That person wouldn't have the right to do your banking or to manage your investments or anything like that, but they would be authorized to be recognized at that closing. So those are just some of the three main examples of the different types of power of attorney. But more and more states have placed all of these different functions in a single statutory form, and you make the decision in the one form what power you are granting to another person.
Sister Stephanie had to walk away, and I'm trying to. I don't see all the comments. Let me get back on my phone.
Oh, okay. Oh, y'all
Okay.
know to start with these comments. Let me see if I what I could pick out.
Okay. Uh,
I need to meet with you to do the willpower, all of that. Look, and you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna type in create your free account. Free account. It's not gonna cost you anything. Go in, create the account, do your power of attorney, do your living will. It's free. It is our gift to you. Go in there, create your password, put in your email, and you can start putting your details in there so that if you want to hop on a call with me and ask questions, we can look at what you have and make some recommendations. Um, but you can get started now for free. Estate planning, 90% of it is putting your information somewhere where other people could get it. Think of it that way. Think of estate planning as, okay, I got a life insurance policy with so and so company. Let me go ahead and put my insurance company information in here and how much the policy is for. If you're anything like Sister Shar and my aunt was a banker, y'all know you open up bank accounts because they say, oh, you can make $300 by opening a new checking account and we'll send you $300, that kind of stuff. Those kind of offers and people like me is accounts all over the place. So you could go in there and you could put, I have a checking account at Navy Federal. I have a savings account over at Truist. And you don't have to put your account numbers. When you have these documents in place, your loved ones don't need your account number. They don't need your password. They just need the signed, notarized document, and they need to know where to go. So you can put all of that in our online resource and just begin mapping it out, because in this account, you can share it out with a trusted person and they can at least have the information. Even if you don't put it all in there right now, pick twice a year to sit down and think about, okay, what do my kids need to know? Okay, what should my neighbor know? Some people, you rely on a neighbor to be able to help you with life, right? And just start putting the information in here. Don't think about all of it at once. Think about it a little bit at a time. And right now, you can start with just setting up a free account, putting your information in there, create your free power of attorney, create your free advance directive, follow the instructions. It gives you instructions. Every one of us needs this. And there's no reason. I just took your excuse away. I just gave it to you for free. If you sign up for this account and you attempt to create a trust or you attempt to create a will, it's going to have a really, really, really high dollar amount in there on purpose, because I don't want anyone purchasing anything without talking to me. So the price that you see in there for a trust or a will is not the real price. It is a payment wall to discourage people from making purchases without advice. So I hope to make that very, very clear. Do not go in there and freak out and say, Sister Shaw charging $10,000 for trust. No. I put a payment wall because I don't want anybody purchasing any legal documents without getting advice from me first. My name is on this. And if you have not spoken to me, then I don't know that you're getting the right thing, because not everybody needs a trust. You may not need a trust. And there may be other ways to keep your estate out of probate. And you just need the right advice for your situation. So there's a big fat payment wall in there if you try to set up a will or a trust, because I don't want you buying it. I want you to talk to me. So that's my disclaimer.
So I kind of stepped away, but let's see, where are we at with
Oh, it
the?
did let me post the. Let me do it from StreamYard. I did it. I did the. Oh my goodness, I did the thing, but I didn't. I didn't do it from StreamYard. I think my chat will show if I do it from StreamYard. Give me just a second. I want to put it in the chat. And if Sister Stephanie, you can do the streamy thing. Um, Look, I don't even know what to call it. If you could do the streamy
I got you.
I am trying to do a comment now. It's asking me to do something fancy.
While Sister Shar does that, I know we're closing the hour and a half, but though some are asking for information uh, on that live in different states other than Georgia.
Hmm. So,
Our our estate planning resource is nationwide,
Mhm.
and it has instructions, information, and forms for every state. It is not a Georgia only resource.
Yeah.
Sister Stephanie, I am texting you the website because StreamYard want me to connect to the YouTube, and I'm not. I'm I'm not logged into StreamYard as an administrator, and I don't think the me posting a website link will process from me doing it as a guest.
Okay, I got you.
So thank you so much. So yes, our technology is a nationwide technology with all of the forms, all of the instructions, and how to make it official. And it also allows you to upload the completed document into your account and share it with your loved ones so that they can have that authority at the tip of their fingers where they can go in, log in, download it, have it, and act on your behalf in case of emergency. And again, you can personalize this account as much as you want. The account is free, and you can put in the different pieces of your world. And even I do this every couple of months. I'm thinking about stuff, right? Like, I have a couple of phones. If something happened to me, let my children know which phone number belongs to me, which phone number belongs to their kid brother, stuff like that, right? um don't put passwords in there. Don't put account numbers in there, but put the names of institutions. You can put the names of your professionals in there. So I have clients who go in there, they put my name in there as a contact person for their loved one. If they know that I did their paperwork for them, they put my name in there. They put my phone number, my email address in there. You can put your insurance agent's name, phone number, email in there. You can put in there your primary care physician's name, phone number, email in there. The important people that your loved ones should know to call to navigate the different pieces of your world. I love this technology, and we have partnered with this technology because they have thought out all the stuff that frustrates people during difficult times, and they put it in one really easy to use platform where you can share it with your folks. And again, there's no fee for you to sign up. We don't charge for this. We are encouraging you to go in there and begin planning for
Mm-hmm.
free. Thank you, Sister Stephanie. So, yes, this site, lawforlovetrust.com, the plan.lawforlovetrust.com, it will ask you if you don't have an account, sign up here, create account. So,
Mm-hmm.
you will go to the bottom, you will click on create account, put in your email, create a password, and start taking a look around and start personalizing it for yourself so that you can, at a minimum, create your free power of attorney and create your free living will.
Yes, I still have some more to do on mine, but I just signed into mine. It's very easy, and you can add a whole bunch of stuff in there as well.
Oh, tons of stuff. For my military folks, we have you put in your DD 214 because that document, if you leave instructions to your family that you want the military to pay for your burial, that document is necessary. Where are they supposed to find that in your papers? This way, you don't
Mhm.
have to have your people go looking for that DD 214 or having to go request that DD 214 from the Department of Defense. You can take a picture of it and put it right into your account. And take your time. This is not a race. It's just a process. Like Auntie Darlene was saying, there were questions and things she had to think through. But then once it's done, you have peace of mind.
Mhm. So we have a couple of people that are very interested in doing their estate planning with you, and I highly recommend, of course, you guys contact Sister Shar for talking about power of attorney as well as estate planning. Um, I guess they can get in contact with you with that link that I dropped in the chat, and then also just by visiting your website, right? Law for Love.
Law for Love. Well, let me see how I want to do this. Um, you can text me at the office. My office number is in the text. You can call or text. If you call, ask for a legacy planning meeting, and our team will get you set up on my calendar. Or you can text me if you want to be grown and you don't want to set up an appointment. Y'all family, that's your family access to me by text or by phone. You can call and set up an appointment with our team, or you can text and I will respond. It just give me a minute. I'm a little slower on text messages. And also, I will also mention this to anyone who's interested in learning how to help your family members, how to help your neighbors, how to help your friends do what we've been talking about today. You can actually start earning as an affiliate with our office, because my goal is that we keep our people out of court. When I take my last breath, I will be at rest to know that the work that I did in my life helped keep more of our people out of this court system. I'm tired of seeing us being everybody else's lunch. And this system is very harmful to us. And wherever we can avoid it, we need to. And I will rest in peace knowing that I helped one of our families in our communities not have to go down the road of probate court. That will give me peace in knowing that I sounded the alarm. I shared resources. I educated our people to the best of my ability. I showed up, and I gave you no excuse to be in these people's courts after you go through one of the most painful experiences in life. There's no reason for it. There's no excuse for it. Don't, no, it ain't the money. No, I just gave you a free power of attorney and a free living will. Those are the first steps. Um, but if you are interested in training with me, and learning how to help families with the program that we're building to spread the love of estate planning and education throughout our community, text me and I will invite you to our very next training, where our affiliates are all a part of helping us spread education, awareness, and resources to our people.
Yes. And then also at the end of this live and the outro, there are QR codes to get in contact, of course, with Sister Sharp. And then also, if you want to become an affiliate as well, I also have a link as well, because I'm an affiliate with Sister Sharp for Law for Love as well.
And thank you, Sister Stephanie, for the invite. Can I just love on y'all for a quick minute?
Can we love on you? Because you're the one that really, put all of us together and be like, okay, get out the nest and get out
Right.
there.
And that's what I wanted to say. Like, from the first time y'all started going live to even now, I hear you showing up, and I'm literally feeling emotional. That something that I know is very hard for you to do at first. You're like owning this thing. Like, I'm so happy to have been in the background before you first went live. And to now getting an invite to come to your live, I'm like, okay, girl. I love y'all. I love you so much. Oh my goodness, I love you, love you, love you. You are my family that Yah placed in my life. And I appreciate you. And I bless him for the gift and the treasure that you both carry. And also, Sister Ashley, my goodness, the treasure of you and the blessing that you are to us. I bless
Yes.
God for you. Thank you so much for this honor.
Yes.
Yes, you're most welcome. We honor you. I mean, look at all your expertise and your wealth of knowledge and wisdom. You know, even my little avatar up there I created it really for Sister Shar because her knowledge is a treasure chest and it's invaluable. And I
Yes.
honor you and I really thank you for all of the knowledge, the wisdom, the pouring into that you've done with me personally. And I'm sure for everybody in this community, we really appreciate you.
Yes.
Amen.
Yeah. And I don't want to start crying, but
I'm a little
I
crying.
want
Me
to thank,
too.
Sister Shelby, because she's really helped me to come out in a spot where I didn't want to be. I don't want to be out here in these YouTube streets. And I had my lips stuck out and kind of angry, but she pushed me out here, and I'm doing something that I never thought I would be doing. I'm still growing. I'm still trying to learn how to, communicate better. And it's all because of even Yali gifted the business and everything is and being in her incubator was is such a blessing. Just knowing Sister Stephanie and Sister Shar and how far I have um, came just from y'all, from you guys. So much love and you know how I feel about y'all. So thank you.
We love you. We love you.
Yeah. Amen. Amen.
And of
So
course, we're going to continue to have you on too.
look, I'm here for it when I step into fully what Yah has assigned me to do, it is going to bless our people. So there is definitely more to come that Yah has placed on me, that Yah has burdened me with. This affiliate program is just the tip of the iceberg of what He has for our people. And I'm just choosing to be a willing vessel to share what I know, because so many of our people would already be lawyers, would already be doctors, would already be all of these different professionals with the right access and resources, right? It's in
Mhm.
us. It's in us. And we are the ones who are tasked with teaching the world the righteousness of the king, right?
Mhm.
So we have been disproportionately frustrated in our access so that we can confidently operate in legal knowledge. And what Yah has planned for our people and my little corner of the internet, my little piece that I play is huge. It's overwhelming what his plan is for our people. So it'll be more to come. I'm I'm walking into it one toe at a time. Like I feeling like Auntie. Auntie said she was over there with her lips poked out. That's how I feel. I'm like, hold up, wait a minute. I just wanted to run a law firm. He's like, no.
Me
No, it's bigger
too.
than the law firm.
Me too. I'm just like, Lord, why you got me out here like this? I am so. Ooh, please close me.
Yes, yes. So thank y'all, and I love y'all, and I
Love you
appreciate
too.
you. I appreciate you, family in the chat. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for the courage that each and one of you that's locked up in you, for you to begin to walk in that courage and that confidence, because we are the king's kids.
Right. That's right. Well, thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Sister Shar. You are most welcome to come in anytime. And then, of course, Sister Darlene, and then peace and blessings to Sister Ashley. And then, everybody, please check out our outro as we leave, right? Because we'll have all of our information on that, especially Sister Shar's information and how you could get in contact with her. And then, of course, the affiliate program for you, Sister Barbara. We got you. Y'all, peace and blessings. Shalom. And thank you all so much.
Shalom, family.
Shalom. Have a good one.